Studios. Can I help you?
I'm here for the podcast recording.
Which podcast recording?
The podcast recording, student-led conversations. I am one of the hosts.
Okay, are you Arpin? Center for Accounting Transformation Studios, can I help you?
Hi, I'm here for the Student-Led Conversations podcast recording. I'm Arpin Garwal, one of the hosts.
Yep, alright, I've got you on the list. I'll buzz you in.
No, I'm Harshita Multani.
Okay, you're on the list too. Come on in, Studio B.
Hey Arpin, did you have any issues getting into the building?
No, why?
Never mind. I'm sure it was just a glitch or something. Let's just count down and get ready for the episode.
Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Student-Led Conversations and our special Year in Review episode. Today, we're joined by Donny Shimamoto, innovative thought leader, honoree of the 2025 Forbes Top 200 CPAs in America, and the inspiration architect behind the Center for Accounting Transformation. He's sitting down with our student hosts, Arpin Gurwal and Harshita Multani, emerging voices and future thought leaders in the profession. Together, they'll take a look back at the first year of this groundbreaking podcast series, one where students lead the conversation, shape the narrative, and write the script.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Student-Led Conversations, where we explore big ideas through student voices. I'm your host, Arpin Gurwal.
And I'm Harshita Multani.
And today, we're closing out the year with something a little special. A look back at where it all started, the moments that changed how we think, and the lessons that we'll carry forward.
It's been an amazing journey this year, and going from Arpin seeing you on the first episode to being a host myself, I've definitely learned so many new things about the accounting profession, about transformation, and we've also learned so many new soft skills too, like collaboration, public speaking, storytelling. It was an amazing journey.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Harshita. So really, what a better way to look back than by bringing on the person who helped make it all possible?
That's right. Today we're joined by Donny Shimamoto, the inspiration architect behind the Center for Accounting Transformation, and honestly, the person who believed in student-led podcast before it was even a thing.
If this were Hollywood, I guess you could say Donny gave us our big break. He took a chance on a student idea and turned it into something so meaningful. So Donny, thank you so much for being here today, and most importantly, thank you for your belief in this idea.
Oh, I am so honored to have both of you. I can't tell you, in listening to your intro, I was getting chicken skin just thinking about all the great things that both of you have done. So just outstanding job to you and all of our production team on this.
Well, thank you so much. We thought it would be a fun and really a nostalgic episode to go all the way back to the beginning and talk about what inspired this podcast, how it's grown, and share a few aha moments from the episodes that surprised us the most.
So let's rewind to that first program, the one where this whole journey started, the February episode of the Accounting Arc podcast, where I came on and flipped the script on you, Byron, and Liz. And honestly, looking back at that podcast, I have realized how much I have grown and how comfortable I've gotten with doing these podcasts. When Heather asked me and Donny, you were like, okay, Arpin, you want to come on and interview us? I was so nervous. I did not want to do it, but I was like, I've always been those type of people who hate saying no to things. So I was like, let me try it out. It's probably just a one-time thing. Let's get it done and over with. And then I was so nervous going into it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be all about accounting, and I know nothing about accounting. So when I got there, I was so surprised and I loved hearing your guys' stories. And after that episode, I think something just sparked inside of me. And then that's where it all started. And now we've been doing one once a month. And it's been honestly such an amazing experience. I've learned so much. I've met so many amazing people. And I'm so glad I said yes to interviewing you guys.
I'm super glad too. And I think as you discovered, which I hope a lot of people are discovering from both this podcast, the Student-Led Conversations, as well as ARC, is that there really is all these dimensions and different aspects of accounting. And it's not just about the books, it's not just about the taxes, and it's really about the people. And I think both of you have done a really great job in both of your episodes in interviewing the people and bringing out the personal side of everything that's going on in accounting.
Yeah, honestly, I was so surprised at the different stories and backgrounds of all the people that we brought on. I mean, you think about accounting professionals and all these successful people, and you're thinking, okay, like they can't have that much going on behind the scenes. But just hearing about how personal their stories can actually get and how their struggles actually, like, I can connect with them is something that was so amazing.
Mhm. I have to say, Donnie, I was watching the episodes and I'm still wondering what was it about that first conversation that you had with Arpin on the ARC episode that brought to the ending of the episode to Arpin suggesting that she should have her own podcast. And you were actually on the spot encouraged it. So what was it in that moment that made you say that?
Well, one, she did a brilliant job interviewing us, but even more importantly, I think she asked the questions that everyone else your age wants to know, right? It's not all of us, the adults, the professionals, saying this is what you need to know. It was what you wanted to know. And it was really, I think that's the key difference, especially with this podcast. And Harshita, you've also done a brilliant job, talking with some of the people I look up to as a thought leader in the profession and interviewing them and asking them, very poignant questions. And again, I think both of you represent this future generation. And so we need to hear more of your voices and your questions and have you guys ask and tell us what you want to know about the profession and share your insights as you have in both in the podcast and today.
hmm I think that's one of the most beautiful things about this podcast is that it gives students the platform to speak up and speak to professionals like you. It gives us, and it shows the viewers, all the students who are watching us, that there's opportunities out there like this, opportunities where like professionals like you want to hear the students' voices. They want to see us, in the professional field and have those real life opportunities to grow.
I will say too that I do feel, and this might be me being a little biased being in the profession, but our accounting profession especially, we're just so dedicated to students. I'm involved on the IT side. I've looked at the medical side. I have a pretty broad view of a lot of the professions, and our profession is one that has always come back. We've been involved, like we just went through high school visits, or we're going through high school visits. So we're out there in the classrooms. I just talked with another chapter out in Houston. They're actually doing middle school visits. So we're all coming back. We all get involved in things like BAP and BPA and all of these different types of student associations. So you see where our profession, the accountants and the auditors, we're all very much invested in the next generation. So I appreciate again both of you giving us the opportunity to have a voice that helps answers the questions that you guys have.
Thank you so much for all of your comments, Donnie. I love how the accounting profession really emphasizes on career encouragement, especially our podcast and all of the things that we do. We really emphasize on, encouraging the career profession. And like you said before, that like there's so many there's so many stigmas against accounting. People say it's a boring job. People say this and this and this. There's a reputation that it has, even though it's false because there is so much more to accounting. In your opinion, what do you think is the most amazing thing about the accounting profession?
Well, I'm gonna use a couple of the words that you used earlier. So you
hmm
started off saying career, and then at the very end you said job. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the big things that I think is very different in accounting is it's not just a job. A job, it's easy to go and change. A job, maybe you're
Mm-hmm.
not connected to, but accounting is really a career. And accounting is also a career that's not just for accountants. There's a lot of others that are involved in delivering accounting or accounting related services. And that's one of the big things. We are actually an inclusive profession because while the accountant may be a collaborator or a center for collaboration, what we're doing is we're often bringing in multiple perspectives. So we're bringing in the lawyer to help with family planning. We're bringing in the investment manager to help with financial management. Where in a case like this, we're bringing in the creatives and the marketing people to bring together great content that helps inform people. So we really are a collaborative thing. And this is something that I think is very different. You don't see it on the lawyers, you don't see it in the doctors, you don't see it in the teachers, you don't see it in engineers. And it's because accounting really is the underpinning behind a lot of business and organizations. And so we become this glue that holds everything together.
I totally agree with that. Wait, did someone just ring a doorbell?
I heard that too. I think we have a surprise guest.
Hi, friends. I just wanted to pop on and say congratulations to Arpan, Harshita, and Chaitan on an amazing first season. I was so honored and grateful to be a part of it. You guys are onto something really special, and I can't wait to see what you have in store for season 2. Wishing you all the best in your continued success. Happy holidays. Bye.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to us.
I remember when I learned about the podcast and I heard the call out from the episode. It was when Arpan posted on her story about the episode. She was posting about how excited she was about filming the first episode. And soon enough, then she posted, if anybody's interested, they can reach out to her about being a guest and being a podcast host. And that was the first thing that kind of sparked my interest because I'm the kind of person that I want to jump onto any opportunity that kind of comes my way. So I naturally have that ambition in me. And when I saw that opportunity, I immediately messaged Arpan. I DM'd her and I said, what is this about? Like, what organization is this for? What's this about? And this was the first time that I heard about the Center for Accounting Transformation. So I did some research, and a couple of interviews later, I found myself with this position. And eventually, I was at my first podcast call. And I was lucky enough to have these amazing guests, Byron, Patrick, and Texlin Quinney. They were such amazing first 2 hosts. And that was my first episode that I did with Arpan. And honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better episode because that really it showed me how amazing these conversations are, how much we can learn from these conversations. And I'd never had such an educational conversation before, such an insightful one before.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Byron, Liz, and Texlin have been some of the most amazing guests. I mean, just looking at them, you wouldn't expect them to have such amazing and interesting backstories. I mean, especially Liz. And honestly, they were so welcoming and they kind of were just asking me the right questions that I wanted to answer and I wanted to share with all the students out there as well. And it was just honestly such an honor to be able to sit down with them and ask them those questions. And I mean, thanks to this podcast, I got that amazing opportunity. Not many, I mean, high school juniors at that time get that chance. So Donnie, what is your view on the episodes that we did with Byron and Liz?
I think all the episodes were actually fabulous. You guys saw me sharing it out on LinkedIn. So I actually was watching. I don't watch our other episodes since we were on it, but I actually do watch all of your episodes and I share them out because I think they're not just relevant to the students, but I also think they really are relevant back to the professionals. So that's why I share them out because that's who's really watching my LinkedIn. And I think this is one of the big things that we really want to do, especially through the center, is we want to listen. We want to listen to more about what your generation thinks, what's important to you, and really help you understand how you can actually have an impact and truly help improve the world.
I totally agree. And speaking of LinkedIn, it's so funny that that episode with Byron and Texlin actually started based off a LinkedIn post that Byron made about telling kids to stop following their passions. And I mean, just one post made such a big impact on us students, and to the point where we made a whole podcast episode about it. And I'm sure
Hmm.
many of our listeners agreed with it and probably learned something from the message that both Byron and Texlin had to share with us.
Hmm. And I'm sure that the same way people are inspired by seeing you post about the episodes and you post about our episodes, Donnie. You said previously that you like sharing our episodes on your LinkedIn profile. I think that's a really incredible way to spread our word and just spread our message that we have for this podcast, advocating the student word and advocating that we also have things to say. We have these insightful conversations with these professionals. And I also remember really clearly about hearing about the episode for the first time through a LinkedIn post that Arpin shared with me. I thought that was a really interesting topic, and it was such an interesting way that that topic stemmed into a topic it stemmed into a episode about passion, about your careers and how passion can impact your future. Is there a specific moment from that episode that you remember, Donnie, that really stuck out to you?
I think it comes back to the core message, which was really right. It wasn't completely just follow your passion. It was really follow your passion, but also be realistic about what's going on and and whether you can actually make a living on that. I remember Byron specifically talking about that. And that is actually, I think, so important, but it's also very representative of the
Hmm.
practicality and the pragmatism that is inherent in our profession as accountants. We're
Hmm.
trying to figure out how do you help people be more successful at whatever it is they're trying to do. But part of that sometimes is that question, can this be successful? Is this going to work? Let's plan this out and kind of figure it out. Let's create some vision around where you want to be and the clarity on how you're going to get there. And that's really, I think, part of our role. So I was glad all of that helped and that you guys enjoyed that episode as well.
No, I totally agree with you, Donnie. And that episode taught me so much, and your inspiration has taught me so much. I mean, I've taken all of those skills and those lessons and the things that you guys have been through and the advice you gave us outside of the world, especially as I'm getting ready, especially me and Harshita are both getting ready to go to college next year and actually start our careers. I mean, just getting to sit down with you guys and hear like your guys' biggest advice of getting into the professional world and the career world, especially of, you have to make hard choices sometimes, and sometimes you will fail, and sometimes those failures will lead to good things, and sometimes they'll, like backtrack you by 10 steps. But just having you guys as an example to look at and be like, okay, they've been through this, I can get through this too. And I bet like hundreds of students that are watching can agree with me. And just having something to listen to as you're trying to walk across that bridge from high school to college to the professional world is something that I know I love, and also my sister listens to. And as she's about to graduate college, she definitely appreciates all the tips and advice that you guys have given the students.
I think we should highlight one other thing from what you're saying too is, and you guys are not just interviewing just anybody that's in the profession.
Hmm.
You're interviewing a lot of the people that are the top people in the profession, and you hear all of us sharing some of our failures, some of the challenges. And so this is not like everything. And sometimes I think social media, everyone puts all the nice and fun stuff. They don't realize that, hey, there are some challenges we have to get through. So I think
Hmm.
it's even more important for everyone to look at that and go,
Yeah.
even some of the top people have their challenges, but the key
Hmm.
is working through that, remaining focused and really kind of working through any type of troubles.
Yeah. And I've learned so much about the accounting profession and the CPA credentials and all of that stuff too. I mean, even though I'm not going into accounting, I think that anyone can benefit from the skills and all of like everything you learn from accounting can be used absolutely anywhere. And I'm so grateful that I was introduced to this profession and that I get to be one of the people to encourage others and advocate for it as well.
Well, and we're very thankful to you for all that both of you have done to raise this profession in the eyes of your peers?
Thank
Mhm.
you.
When you said, Arpin, about the accounting profession, about how you didn't know as much, that reminded me of my situation too. Because I remember going into this, I was kind of worried that I didn't know that much about accounting either. I remember one of the first questions that I was asked was, how much do you know about accounting? What do you know? And I answered honestly, I said, I don't know much, but I'm really willing to learn because I know accounting can be applied to any career. And like you said, Donnie, accounting is kind of it's the hidden superhero, really. It's behind every single career field. It's everywhere. So that was my reason to being in this accounting area. I thought that accounting is such a career that can help anybody. It can be something that you can apply to anything. And I know that I've referenced these podcast episodes to even the conversations that I've had with my friends. When we talk about things like passion and when we bring up things like graduation, because me and Arpin were both seniors, we have these conversations. And I recall like talking to my friends and just telling them like I had these conversations in these calls with these accounting professionals. They talked about their failures, and it's so incredible hearing about how just normalizing these failures is so important too, because everyone goes through them, and hearing these top voices, like you said, Donnie, going through these failures and experiencing them, I think it's so important to see that side as well, because we often get confused from social media because of all of the success that we see, that we forget about all the hard work, all of those failures, all of those tries, all of those repeats that we've done in the background.
Yes, and I think especially for your generation, it's important to understand that sometimes failure is okay. I feel like you guys are under so much pressure to get the good grades, be in the sport, do the extracurricular, do all the do and that and that and that and that, right? It's just like on and on and on, like all the things you have to do to get it. And I feel like as well, like, man, that is crazy the amount of pressure you're on. And you're pressuring yourself out, and you haven't even got into college yet, and that's going to be a whole nother adventure that you've got to go there. So,
Yeah.
yes, very important message, I think,
Mhm.
perseverance.
I mean, I feel like every year the college expectations just keep getting bigger and bigger.
Hmm.
And honestly, I feel like I always like look back to our May episode of mental health awareness, and that was a different side of seeing all these professionals. I mean, yes, talking about how amazing accounting is and how amazing all these professions is also an amazing part of these podcasts, but also hearing about the struggles that come with it and the hidden side, but like behind working a job and doing all of this amazing stuff is something that people don't like to talk about much because it tends to make people look weak sometimes. And I think that we do need to bring awareness to people's mental health and the hard parts of it as much as we talk about the good parts of it. So I'm so glad we got the chance to do that, and I'm so glad for our guests that day that were willing to share us their personal side and all of the dark sides of the professional world and leaving school and how hard that can be as well.
Donnie, is there a specific thing about the accounting world and about this podcast that you think really makes it stand out in the accounting world and about the accounting profession specifically too?
Actually, I'm going to go the opposite. I was just reflecting on what Arpin said, and
Mm-hmm.
especially the conversations that both of you have had with your guests.
Mm-hmm.
Really think back of it, it's not only about accounting. And so a lot of the lessons, just as you said, Arshita, like a lot of accounting you can apply to every place in the
Yeah.
world. I think the conversations that you had can apply every all over the world as well in all kind of different situations. I mean, personal resilience is something every professional needs, every person needs. So that was again what I really loved about what y'all did with with your podcast. These student-led conversations really became not just accounting, but more universally applicable.
Yeah. So speaking about students, Donnie, not a lot of high school students would be given a platform like this, along with the trust that you've provided for us to create these ideas and build out the show and even be part of the production of the show. So I'm curious, why were you so comfortable in doing that with us?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say having having been a high achiever myself, which I know both of you are, I knew that if I had been given this opportunity back then, I would have made sure I made the most of it. And I think you both did. I can't I keep saying I can't say it often enough how proud I am of you. And to me, that's the bigger part of really what it takes to be a leader. So I have my recognitions. I've been on the top lists of all kinds of things. I've now changed my purpose, really, and my mission to really be elevating others. And as we've seen through the awards, some of our other videos have won. We've seen our production team win awards. And then with the success for you guys here, it's really about opening doors for people. And when you talk about how do we help people succeed, it's about being that champion for them. It's about giving them that opportunity rather than pushing them through and nurturing them all the way and not letting them fail, which I think a lot of times parents do too much. It's really about here's the opportunity, have at it. I'm going to make sure you don't kill yourself, but we're going to make some stuff. And this is where giving up that control and that creativity to y'all. Again, you guys are the ones that had the questions. You know what your peers want. And so I was confident you would deliver, and you did very well.
Thank you. And that seems like a whole theme across like accounting profession itself. I mean, the inspiration, the motivation, it's all just surrounded by accounting. And I think like a lot of people don't recognize that. I mean, they get kind of blindsided by what like the world pushes out about accounting, but they don't realize like the backside of it that's actually driving the whole career and the whole profession itself right now.
Yeah, I think that's very true. One of the things a lot of people don't realize is that accounting is not hierarchical. So in a lot of organizations, you kind of keep moving up and you report to certain people. In accounting, we work very much in just big teams, pools of people that all have very similar skills. So for you to be successful, especially in public accounting, it's really about taking that initiative, as Harshita said earlier, being willing to learn and being open to learning and kind of working through that and driving your success forward so that you stand out from the rest of the crowd. So I feel like there's a lot of self-determination in our profession too.
And bouncing off of what all of you guys just said, I loved hearing about what you thought about our podcast, Donnie, and all of that stuff. And that reminded me of all of the episodes that we've done this year. It made me just kind of go through like a flashback of all of those episodes because it's really been a journey for me. Starting off in the summer, not knowing what I was doing, going in completely scared. I had no idea what I was going into, to now being more comfortable in this podcast, being actually open to these conversations and really wanting to learn and hear what everyone has to say. There's so many aha moments for me in each of those episodes. And outside of the Byron and Texlin episode, of course, being the first episode, the episode that really stuck out for me, I would say, is the one that I did with accounting and pop culture. That episode was something that I really loved. That was one of the first episodes. Well, it actually was the first episode that I did on my own. So I was kind of off the training wheels. I even messaged Arpin on my own and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this on my own now for the first time. And she was like, you got this, you'll be okay. So that was kind of encouraging to hear before I went on my own. And that episode for me, it was really eye-opening to see how a host has to handle these dynamics. And it was really amazing to hear these conversations that I had. I feel like what stuck out for me in that episode was because I was the one that made up that idea specifically. And going and being able to see that episode from the beginning of just an idea, an email that I sent, all the way to the actual filming of that episode was just incredible.
Yes, you did an awesome job on that. That was fun. And it was also fun and funny to kind of look back at how is accounting portrayed in it. And I just forgot I just saw another movie that had another accountant. I was like, oh, there's another accountant in the movie. So it's kind of funny how we are all kind of there in the background in a lot of the movies.
And we got to see accounting people actually do have personalities. I'm gonna agree with Harshita there. I think the episode I hold close to my heart was my first solo episode as well. After the ARC episode with Kelly Mann, and I got to bring up the whole idea behind that, and it was Women's Month. And that was very personal to me. And honestly, I didn't think that episode would get so emotional, but it truly did hit like right in my heart. And I mean, the conversations I had with Kelly that day, I still think back to. And I think it was just so like personal and emotional for me to see someone and especially see a woman that has been through all the challenges. I mean, breast cancer and then being in such a male dominated industry and then starting her own company. I mean, her stories and her message was just so powerful to me. And it was almost like she was like a mentor to me after too. I messaged her and she was just the nicest, most like comfortable person to be around. And I think that those episodes and these like chances to interview these people do have such an amazing impact on not only the students that are listening, but also the hosts as well.
Yeah, so let me flip it to both of you now. So both of you just reflected on the first episodes that you hosted. What is your advice to others that want to host an episode?
I'd say just do it. No matter how scared you are, no matter how bad you think you're gonna mess up, we all mess up. I mean, I still mess up to this day in episodes, but I think you never know if you're good enough to do something until you try it, and you never know how much you're gonna like it and how much other people like seeing you in it.
Mhm. Kind of bouncing off what Arpin said, I really loved what she said, but mine would be open to the mistakes that'll happen on the way because there will be inevitable slip-ups. There will be parts where you mess up. But that's normal. That's a part of the journey. And I think the best parts of the episodes are the parts where you kind of slip up and you just go off the script, you ramble or just talk outside of the topic. I feel like those are the most organic parts of the conversation. So, being open to the mistakes that you make and building off of those mistakes. Like you don't have to stay with one script, but instead you can build off your own words and make your own kind of script in your way.
I
I
like that.
totally agree.
Yeah. Okay, I have one more question for you guys, because the
Okay.
other thing I always hear people say, fake it till you make it. What do you think
Yeah,
about that?
I
I
agree.
totally agree. I mean, especially as a person that never says no to anything, you do have to fake it until you
Yeah.
make it. And trying to like be in a room where like you're the youngest person too, and like being on these calls when you're like 10, 20, 30 years younger than like the person you're interviewing, it does get very intimidating. And you're like, okay, like they know so much about everything else. What if I don't know what to say? What if I mess up? But sometimes you just have to fake it till you make it. And if sometimes you have to like like circle back or like go down a different path of a conversation. It's totally fine. And no matter what, at the end of the day, at least one person listening will like it and they'll be a fan. I mean, I know my mom is definitely a fan of these shows. Every time one comes out, she plays it at dinner to watch like with the whole family. And she forces everyone to sit there and watch the whole conversation. So I think, I mean, just knowing that we have at least one person who likes the episodes is just good enough for me.
I 100% agree. I live by fake it till you make it. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times I've done things that are outside of my comfort zone. I mean, go to a networking event for the first time, go to a competition for the first time, having a conversation with somebody who I'm really looking up to. All of these things I felt so nervous to do. And, there's always those inevitable thoughts in the back of your head, like, what if I mess up? What if I slip up? What if I say something that I didn't mean to say? And those thoughts are when I just push it aside and I fake it until I make it. I just tell myself I make a fake ego of myself. I make a fake alter ego and I tell myself, you know what? No, it's fine. These people, they're also willing to learn. These are people who want to learn from me. I want to learn from them. This is a conversation between two individuals and this is going to be a great thing. All of that stuff. I just try to feed myself these words until I'm I'm just faking it and then I'm fine and then it's fine whenever I finish it. I know I'll be fine at the end. And that's the thought that really helps me at the end.
I'm actually going to counterpoint both of you, because if you listen to what
Oh,
both of you said, you weren't faking it. You prepared, you kept yourself open to feedback, and you adjusted as things happened. And what I didn't see both of you do when you hosted your episodes was make like, well, I'm the person and I know everything, and I'm going to interview you, and you're going to answer my questions. Neither of you did that in your episodes. Both of you were very open. You engaged as people came and asked you different questions. For example, I just flipped the script on you guys, right? You adjusted, and that's not faking it. And that's what I want you to realize. It's not faking it. It's actually being prepared and being open, and it's adjusting as you need to and not being afraid to sometimes make some mistakes. So again, great job.
Thank you. I never
Thank
thought
you.
about it from that kind of perspective or that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much for that. And it's funny how all of these episodes that we've done, they kind of feel like these little master classes in a way. We walk away with these quotes and these pieces of knowledge from the people that we interview. So this reminds me so much of the episode that I most recently filmed with Ron Baker. That was the episode about pricing psychology that I did. And I just remember from that conversation, and you know Ron, Donnie, he's a very like knowledgeable person. He knows a lot of things, he knows a lot of facts. So that was a very intimidating thing for me. And he's also such a well-respected overall economist in the accounting profession. So that was an interesting conversation for me to go into. It was definitely unique in the fact that it was just us two, but also that the conversation, you could just tell how much he knew because he'd be putting in little facts here and there. And I did some of my research too. I tried to put in some facts, and that conversation, it felt like I really took so much away from that conversation. And that conversation alone, it reminds me of this one part where Ron called me brilliant. And to give some context to that, Ron was asking me a question that he asked to everyone that he has a conversation with. And that question is, why is movie theater popcorn so good? And my answer to that question was, well, movie theater popcorn, it brings back that nostalgia that you feel of a movie theater. You know, you think of the red and white stripes, you think of the cozy movie theater aesthetic, those cozy seats, the movie theater. It's what ties that movie theater experience all together. And that was my response. And to that, Ron said I was brilliant. And that was something that stuck with me. That compliment, I kid you not, I was thinking about that compliment for the entire week. That was all I could think about.
Yeah, that was honestly such a cool episode. And I think the next thing on me and Donnie's bucket list is to be called Brilliant by Ron Baker too.
Yeah. I tell you, when I have to talk to him, I prepare myself as well, and I have to go through all this stuff. And I've never gotten a brilliant. I was kind of upset a little there, jealous.
Arpin, is there any episode that really stuck out to you that you've most recently filmed?
Most recently, I just did an episode with Zane Savage about Gen Z and advocacy and her experience in accounting and how that matches up with advocacy and why accounting can be such an amazing avenue for that as well. And it was just so like nice to hear that there's so many different options and different like pathways you can go down, and also just hearing her aspect about giving back to the community and why it's so important to get involved and do as many clubs as you can do, join as many organizations as you can join, because one day hopefully you'll get the chance to go back into your own hometowns, your own like cities and those communities and give back to them as well. And that was such an important thing for me because I do care so much about youth advocacy as well.
hmm And I love that message in that episode. I really am someone that loves, doing all these clubs and extracurriculars because they make me feel like I'm helping out. I want to be contributing in the community every single chance I get. Just like how this podcast, I love how we get to talk to professionals, but also have a conversation with the viewers and, have these conversations that are meaningful and helpful. And I love that advocacy part too, because that's also such a big thing that I value.
Yes, it's definitely a huge part of the profession as well. So even for me, having worked on the mainland for a while and coming back to Hawaii this year, I'm now finding that there are so many opportunities to bring a lot of what I've learned at the national and international level to come back and help to elevate to just career and workforce development here at home for myself.
Hey, Arpin, Harshita, and Shayton. I'm just stopping by to drop you a quick line and reflecting on 2025. It has been such an honor and privilege of mine to be an invited guest on your student-led conversations podcast. And I'm so excited and looking forward to what the next year brings for you in year 2. I travel to many places around the world, and I have met a diverse group of students wherever I go. And it's inspiring to know that there are resources and people out there who, when you combine the ideas with the intelligence and with the will and the fortitude to make the world a better place, that you all have created such a wonderful podcast that I'm hoping will change lives and continue to be a catalyst and a spark to other students to do great things. So just wanted to say thanks again, and looking forward to and can't wait to see your podcast next year in 2026. Bye.
Wow, okay, these surprise guests are seriously making my day.
Same here. I'm gonna need some tissues, honestly, after these can keep coming.
So it looks like we're getting close to the end of another incredible conversation. As we wrap up today, we just want to thank you to everyone who listened, supported, and believed in the student-led project.
This year has been a lot about learning, experimenting, and growing, and none of it would have happened without the guidance from the Center for Accounting Transformation, and of course also, Donny, your trust in us to tell these stories.
And who knows, maybe we can come to Hawaii for another episode next year.
We definitely, hopefully we can make that happen.
Well, Harshita, I could not agree more with everything that you have said. And who would have thought that we could have been given a platform to share student ideas, voices, and perspective with some of the most insightful and influential people in the accounting profession. And Donny, we really cannot thank you enough, and the Center for Accounting Transformation, and of course, our supporting partner, CPA Trendlines, for providing this amazing platform to hold these conversations and sharing them with so many other people.
Oh, speaking of CPA Trendlines.
Ding dong. Harshita, Arpin, from the thousands of fans you have at CPA Trendlines, thank you for a wonderful, wonderful year. You've covered subjects from accountants and movies to pricing at accounting firms. It's tremendous the work you're doing. It's tremendous the fan base you're building. We all love you completely, and we can't wait to see what happens in 2026. Happy New Year.
Now that's a way to end an episode. Thank you, Donny, and all of our special guests for joining us on our end of year episode. As we head into the holiday season, we want to wish everyone the very best, and we hope you'll continue on this podcast adventure with us in 2026, where we plan to bring even more voices, both student and professionals, forward.
And to our listeners, if you have an idea for a future episode, please let us know. And in the meantime, keep asking questions, keep being curious, and remember that transformation starts with you. We cannot wait to continue the student-led conversations in season 2. And until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep making an impact.
All right, take 14. Hey, everybody. Byron Patrick, one of the co-hosts of the ARC Accounting Podcast, and I just wanted to chime in and say congratulations to the Student-Led Conversations team on finishing your first season. Arpin, Harshita, Chaitan, y'all are crushing it. I can't believe what you all are doing as students, and I cannot wait to see what comes next in season 2 and beyond for what you're doing. You are having incredible impact to the profession already as students, which is so impressive. Thank you for having me as a guest on a few of your episodes in season 1. It was truly an honor to be able to participate in a little part of your journey. So thank you for that. And again, congratulations on finishing season 1. Can't wait to watch it in season 2. Thanks.
Is this the right link? It's the same one. Dave? Production? They must have ditched me or something.
Arpin, Harshita, Chaitan, Kiera here.
congratulations on year 1 of the Student-Led Conversation podcast. You all have done an amazing job, and it was an honor to be able to be on the podcast this year with Arpin and Raphael and Jana talking about personal resilience and mental health. Your perspective on what students want to hear is so beneficial for this profession. I cannot wait to hear what you all have in store for 2026. Great job. Keep it up.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to say congratulations on finishing season 1 of the Student-Led Conversation podcast. It was so much fun to be on an episode earlier this year where we discussed pop culture and the accounting profession. I'm always looking for that lead CPA character. My favorite new one is Arthur on Loop. Check him out. Anyway, congratulations again on finishing season 1, and I can't wait to see what's coming up in 2026 with season 2.
Hi everyone. I know I wasn't part of your inaugural season of the Student-Led Conversations, but I have been listening, and I've really enjoyed the conversations we're having. It is so important for students to share their perspective and to drive conversations within the accounting profession in such a meaningful way. Getting to know Arpin this year and seeing the ideas she's bringing forward through the center beyond the podcast have given me so much hope for our future. Keep up the great work. I can't wait to see what's ahead in season 2, and who knows, maybe I'll even be a guest.
So they went to a studio without me. It's what I get for being the new guy.
Oh my gosh, that was fun. No, I can't wait for next year. Oh my god!